So we are less than 2 weeks away from Election Day, and candidates are making their final push to voters. In Georgia, Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker is facing new allegations that he paid for a second woman to get an abortion. It's a very tight race against incumbent Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock, and the outcome could help determine control of the Senate. So Nikole Killion is at the Capitol with the latest on this. Nikole, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Anne-Marie and Vlad. Herschel Walker is doubling down on this new claim, calling it foolishness, although the accuser insists this is not politically motivated and says she has proof.
I'm not going to stop. This seat is too important.
GOP Senate nominee Herschel Walker hit the airwaves Wednesday night, hours after a second accuser claimed he pressured her to get an abortion.
I'm done with this foolishness.
That's not a denial.
Attorney Gloria Allred represents the woman who she identified as Jane Doe.
He encouraged me to have an abortion and gave me the money to do so.
The woman described a 6-year relationship with Walker while he was married and playing in the NFL. She says that in April 1993, she found out she was pregnant and told Walker she couldn't go through with the abortion.
He was upset and said that he was going to go back with me to the clinic the next day for me to have the abortion.
While her lawyer did not present receipts from the clinic, she did provide what she claimed was other evidence of the relationship, from a photo to handwritten cards and a recorded message purportedly from Walker.
I wanted to say I love you and I was thinking about you.
The woman said she decided to come forward due to Walker's anti-abortion rights stance.
I believe in life.
And following other allegations by another woman that he paid for her abortion in 2009.
Herschel Walker is a hypocrite, and he is not fit to be a U.S. Senator.
What I'm saying is this is a lie, and I've said it once, and I've moved on my campaign.
This stuff needs to stop. You're trying to ruin people's lives.
On the campaign trail, many of Walker's supporters seemed unfazed, although a new poll found Walker with a 52% unfavorable rating among Georgia voters, a number that's gone up since last month.
I think what he stands for is the truth. Everybody has done bad things in their life. I mean, even me, and I'm pretty darn good.
Now, that woman told us that she has already voted for Herschel Walker. In fact, more than 1 million people have cast ballots in early voting in Georgia, shattering records. Walker's Democratic opponent, Senator Raphael Warnock, said these latest allegations are part of a troubling pattern. Anne-Marie, Vlad?
So, Nikole, you just brought up something that I was thinking. There's been a tremendous amount of early voting in Georgia, as you point out, breaking records. So you got to wonder if this latest round of, allegations, if it's even going to have an impact on Walker's chances.
Yeah, well, it always remains to be seen. It remains to be seen what additional details may come out in the coming days now that this woman has come forward. But that being said, some of this at this point is baked in, whether that is people who have already cast their ballots or in the case of people who support Herschel Walker, even after that first set of allegations from his ex-girlfriend that he paid for an abortion for her. When we talked to voters after that story broke, most of them told us, while they may not like it, it's not necessarily going to change their vote or their view. Others, were very forgiving of the situation, saying, well, that was in the past, and, people, have the bad things that have happened in their lives, and they move on. So there has been a lot of leeway that Herschel Walker has been given in terms of these allegations. Again, whether or not that continues remains to be seen. I will note that on the campaign trail, though, in the last couple of weeks, we have seen the messages really sharpening between the candidates on this issue of credibility and truthfulness. And Senator Warnock, who again issued that statement, has cut some ads based on that first set of abortion allegations. So we'll see, if those are used, if, Democrats or groups supporting Warnock decide to, do something with these latest allegations. But either way, Herschel Walker has made clear he's trying to turn the page and move forward as we get to Election Day.
Let's turn to the Senate race in Pennsylvania, Nikole. As you know, Democratic candidate Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman's debate performance this week is raising some concerns about the party's chances of taking the seat. How's the candidate responding?
Well, he did this big event last night, and he drew a crowd of more than 3,000 people. He was with Dave Matthews in Pittsburgh, and, he acknowledged, look, this debate was hard. It wasn't easy for me, and I may have missed a couple of words. In fact, he went on to say he doesn't think something like this has been done in modern political history. So he is trying to rebound from this, despite what some critics may say. His campaign also pointing to the fact that he pulled in some $2 million post-debate, and also he too is trying to turn the page and really make this debate about his opponent, Mehmet Oz, really focusing on that part of the debate where they went back and forth over the issue of abortion. And, Mehmet Oz made that line or stated that, he believes that it should be a woman, and local officials and their doctors making these decisions. So, Fetterman has already kind of seized on that, even turning an ad on that. So he too, again, trying to turn the page following his debate performance.
So meanwhile, in Florida, and I think this is very interesting, former President Trump announced that he's going to be holding a rally with Senator Marco Rubio on November 6th. However, Governor Ron DeSantis will not be in attendance. What more can you tell us about? I mean, is this a snub? How do we interpret this?
Yeah, well, this was a story that Politico broke in terms of, this potential snub. And of course, we know the former president has announced a pretty robust schedule in the final days before Election Day, where he'll be going to places like Pennsylvania, Ohio, and now we know Florida. But according to Politico, and who spoke with some of DeSantis's aides and advisors, people in his inner circle, they are a bit miffed about this, just because, it's a scenario where this is like the last Sunday before Election Day, and they more or less feel that the former president would likely suck up all the oxygen by coming into campaign that day. So, Trump's advisors told Politico that, there was kind of no ill intent here, that the president kind of former president wanted to get out in these final days. But again, it just kind of speaks to the divide between these two men and the jockeying, knowing that the former president may run in 2024. Governor DeSantis also considering a potential bid. So kind of interesting, considering they both consider Florida home.
No ill intent. No ill intent. This was not ill intended.
Of course not.
Of course not. Nikole Killion for us on the Hill. As always, we thank you.
You bet.